Oh, this is fun. This is a lot of fun. Definitely not going to get any trouble with this. Hey guys, it's Eagle. Welcome back to another episode inside of Techopolis 2. Today's episode, we're going to start working in some immersive engineering, start making some multi-block machines, so we can start processing all the materials we're going to need to make ourselves the next tier of Technium, advanced Technium. So, without further ado, let's hop into it. Okay, let's see if we can land this thing. Okay, and I think we're down safely. Just gotta hit R out of here, and we are good. So yeah, in between the last episode and this one, I spent some tech bucks and bought this Gyrodyne. There's some other vehicles as well as far as flight is concerned. I got the other one is the biplane. That one requires fuel. That one's pretty fun, but I think I like this one a little bit more just because it looks awesome. But there's a couple more too that I'm gonna definitely experiment with as well. But back to the important stuff. Today, we are going to start working into immersive engineering and start making the metal press and some LV wire coils and some fun stuff like that. It's going to help us automate the next tier of Technium. So that's pretty exciting. And what we are going to need to do that is a good amount of steel, meaning we need a lot of iron, and we are currently making a lot of steel. So we've got a good amount here that I've been smelting up. I can actually get some more started here if I wanted to, but this should be a pretty good start. So let's check the quest book out here. For the metal press, we need to get the research papers for it though. And that's gonna require redstone, technium, and blank research papers. Not too bad at all. I've been slowly grinding up some redstone here, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab the rest of it that's in here. Let's grab a few stacks of it, and let's just go ahead and start making some redstone, because I have a feeling we're gonna need this. So we'll have that cooking up, and I guess since we have it, we may as well just fly over to the other side of the base. Oh, this is not gonna get old. Very cool. Okay, and over here, all we gotta do is collect some of this sugar cane. We're gonna need some paper. This should be fine for now. That'll last us for hopefully the rest of eternity. So let's go ahead and make some paper now. Okay, cool. And blank research paper. Now the last ingredient, so we need to make these into redstone blocks, and we need 4 technium, which we have a lot of at this point. We have a few stacks of it. Let's go ahead and put this in here. Oh, may not have enough redstone just yet. I lied, I made some already. Very cool. Let's get this crafted. Very cool. And we have unlocked the research papers for the metal press. Also, I don't know if you can hear that right now. There's some pretty bad storms outside the house right now. So if you can hear that throughout the episode, that's what that is. I promise everything else is okay. Okay, then back into the quest book here. We can use this and submit our quest book. And this will give us everything that we need to get ourselves the metal press. And I think from here, to start, we're going to need to make the engineer's workbench. We're just going to take some treated wood and some engineer's crafting table, and it's a good thing that I have an abundance of treated wood. So let's go ahead and see what we're going to need to make that bad boy. Let's check that out, and here, okay. Engineer's workbench. Starts with the engineer's crafting table, which needs some planks and a regular crafting table. Cool. Regular crafting table, treated wood planks. I think we're going to need a little bit more, so let's get a little bit more of that. And engineer's crafting table. Cool. And then lastly, we need a piece of iron and some treated wood fences. Some more of these. And we're going to have to go over to the other side to get the iron that we need. Okay, and now that we have the iron, we have everything we need to make ourselves the engineer's workbench. Cool. So we're just gonna go ahead and temporarily place that down here, and let's figure out where we want to put the metal press. I still have to construct it, and I'm not 100% sure how we do that. I'm gonna have to look at it, but I think we can do it here, because we're gonna need a way to generate some power, and I think this will work out fine on this side here. So let's go ahead and figure that out. All right, how do we craft this? Scaffolding, redstone engineering block. Okay, cool. That's not too bad. So let's have it go this way. Redstone engineering block here. Then we need to put a temporary block down. Then the heavily engineered one. Okay. the piston facing downward. Downward. Oh gosh. How do you make this piston go down? Well, whatever. Here, and that won't work until we get this placed downward. Okay, that took a little bit more than I was thinking, but there we go. Now we have our metal press. Very, very cool. So, what we're gonna need for this is a metal press mold for the plates. So let's go ahead and work in here. We need the metal press mold. And to make that, just some steel. Okay. We can do that. And some steel. Cool. And I think this, we attach it to the metal press. And that should be just about everything we need to get going. So that's set up. Now, the next part we need is to start making some kinetic dynamos and LV wire coils. Okay, so this is super simple. All we just need is some copper and some sticks. And in preparation for this, I did stop our bronze automation so that we can get enough copper. So I'm gonna go over there and grab that. And after a short trip, now we have our copper wire. I'm just gonna make a little bit of that just because I have a feeling we're gonna need a good amount of it. Cool, so there's the LV wire coil made. And let's get into the kinetic dynamo. This requires some redstone, iron, copper coil blocks, and aluminum. Copper coil blocks is LV wire coil surrounded by iron. Should be no big deal. All we need is a little bit of aluminum, I believe. Good thing we have 200 of that stored up in here. Okay. Copper coil block. And there we go. Kinetic dynamo. Quest completed. Now at this point, we get to decide whether or not we want to do a water wheel or we want to do a windmill. And I think I know what I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to do windmill, just because I think it looks a little cooler. And I just feel like every pack does water wheels. I feel like you don't get to do a windmill all that often. So we're going to go towards the windmill, even though it might be a little bit harder to make, but we'll see. So to make myself the windmill blade, we just need a lot of treated wood. Not too bad. I'll go ahead and place a chest down here, actually, so we can kind of save ourselves some materials here, or some space in our inventory. Okay. And the windmill blades. I think we need treated sticks for it. Let's double check. And we do. And there we go. There's 10 windmill blades. Not too bad. And it says right here, it looks like we can already craft the windmill. Very nice. I think all we got to do is just connect that onto the kinetic dynamo and we will have ourselves generating some power. But the question becomes, where do we want to put it? And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself a little bit of a pillar here. And have it going off this bad boy. And this is just temporary for the time being. Okay. Let me place that there. Oh. Did that not work? Uh-oh. Let me switch off shaders and see if it's something to do with that. Okay, well, here we are with shaders off, and it appears that that was the issue. That was why I couldn't see it. But I forgot that in preparation for this mod pack, I actually installed some mods, one of which was a cooler night sky, which now I'm kind of thinking I might stick with shaders off for this episode, at least until I figure out if there's something I can do with this. But that's very cool. It's a lot bigger than I thought, so we're going to have to figure out what I want to do there. But now the question becomes, how do we transfer the power from this windmill into this metal press? And that's going to be done through LV wire connectors and LV wire relays. The connectors are what's going to be placed on the actual windmill and the machine that can run the LV wire coil between them. If you want to have multiple things running off the wire connector, though, you want to use a relay because that can have multiple points coming off of it. So for right now, let's make one of these. Takes terracotta, which, what do you know? We have a lot of that next to us here. But we got to collect a little bit since I think we're going to need a little bit more than just the few that we have. So give me a second to collect that. Okay. And after a short gyrodyne ride across the river, and we've collected a few stacks of the orange terracotta. So now we can use that to make ourselves the relays that we need. So let's go back in here, wire relay, and let's save that recipe. Let's also save the relay, the recipe for the LV wire relay, which is similar. I do like that you get multiple of these crafts. So let's start with that, and the wire connector. Very cool. And that should be 2 more quests completed. Oh, don't want to pin that. There we go. So now all we got to do is take our connector on the bottom of this bad boy and the top of this guy. And from here, we can take the LV wire coil, right click on here, and we now officially have power transfer going in, as you can see here, coming from the windmill. I think for sure I could see myself having a field of these windmills all with the sails on them to generate more power. I feel like that could be a really cool way to generate some power. You know, keep it green. So now that we have this thing powered, I don't know exactly how much power this is going to need, but I guess we should just try getting some iron plates on here. Iron plates and steel plates. So let's just do both of those things. 4 iron plates and let's say 4 steel plates. Now, I don't know if you can throw all of them on there on one time, so let's try that. Throw 4 on there. It looks like you can. That's pretty cool. So that's going to be nice for automation's sake. Just throw that on there, and now we can do the steel. This thing is very satisfying. Okay, so it did use up about 1,000 FE from when we started. So it takes a little while to generate some power. So we're not going to be able to keep this thing running 100% uptime right now, but it doesn't seem like it'd be too bad to power, since it is able to just run it just at a very slow rate. And here's our last plate. It's stuck under there for a long time. Okay, and there's our last plate. Let's check the quest book. Very cool and very cool. So it looks like this plate is what we're going to need to make the other metal press molds as far as the gear, the rod, and the wire. So, engineer's blueprint used to make other plates in an engineer's workbench. Now, I believe that I found an engineer's blueprint at some point during the first episode. I think I spawned near a village, and inside there was a chest that had an engineer's blueprint. And I've been waiting to see what that was used for, and it looks like this is going to be the time for that blueprint to shine. So let's just go grab this out of the chest and see what it was used for. And our engineer's blueprint is for specialized projectiles. Okay, I don't see that being useful for us at the current time, but that does sound very cool. So we're just going to leave that in there. But anyway, it let us complete the quest. But I think we can craft these somehow. Yep, paper, blue dye, and iron plates. Blue dye, obviously, we can get from lapis. Not a big deal. So we can craft those and get the other 3 gears, or other 3 metal press molds rocking and rolling. So I think the next thing we're going to need to do is we can check out this other quest line into the advanced Technium, and it says that we're going to need a lot of aluminum sheets to make aluminum sheet metal. And if you look at the recipe for the advanced Technium, we are going to need a lot of those. We're actually going to need 8 per gear, or 8 per advanced Technium, which is going to take 4 plates each. So obviously do the math, that's 32 aluminum plates per advanced Technium. So we're going to be very conscious of that. We're going to need a lot of that. And that, in fact, that's probably going to mean we're going to have to make a little bit more aluminum miners. It's not a big deal. Other ingredients that we're going to need for this, 4 steel gears. Not too bad. We should be able to make that fairly easily. Now, the 2 things that we got to figure out how to make now are lava bottles and Invar. Invar is an alloy that you make in the alloy kiln with iron and nickel. And you might be asking, where do we get nickel? And I would be asking the same question because I'm not 100% sure. I believe we get nickel from some kind of research paper. So down here, you can see the research paper for nickel. So all we got to do is create, just go down this tech tree, and we should be able to get ourselves a nickel unlock. In fact, you might be able to just start from here. Yep, you can. So let's save that recipe as well. It takes aluminum to do that. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves here. Let's keep working down the immersive engineering line. Okay, so there's a few different options we have here, the immersive engineering quest line. There's the assembler, which essentially works, it works like a automatic crafting table, and it says here it's useful for making treated wood. And I think the reason it says that is because it accepts fluids. So we can put a fluid in there and the wood and get out the treated wood. Modeling machine. Okay, this is what we're going to be using to make the bottles of lava. And to get this quest complete, we need to make a fluid pump, which takes 3 fluid pipes, iron plates, iron mechanical component. Okay, so let's save that recipe. That might be a little bit more difficult, but I guess for the time being, since we read that other quest line, let's get some aluminum. Let's say 16, or actually, let's get 32, because that's the amount we're going to need to make ourselves our first Technium. So let's go ahead and throw on this aluminum ingot. Oh, I missed. Throw on the aluminum ingots. So it's very clear that we are going to need a stronger windmill. So we're going to let this thing run, at least until it runs out of power, and then we're going to figure out what we need to get that rocking and rolling. So went ahead and crafted myself a little bit of a farm here of industrial hemp. This is what we're going to be needing when it's fully grown to make ourselves the better sail so we can start generating some more power. But while that grows up, let's go ahead and head back over to our area over here and start working towards the other parts that we're going to need, like the assembler and the bottling machine. So let's go ahead and see what we're going to need for that. Okay, so to get ourselves the assembler, we're going to need the fluid pump. So we need 3 iron plates, which we have an iron mechanical component, which is going to need 4 more. Okay, we're going to need a few more iron plates. Let's get those going. Should be able to make 8 with the current power production, at least I hope so. So let's see. Let that rock. And what else is necessary? We need 3 fluid pipes. Okay, so we're going to need a lot more iron plates than I thought. So we're just going to have to take some time here and collect some of this stuff up. And it looks like it can produce about 8 of these iron plates until it runs out of power. Okay, so that's not going to work. All right, anyway, while we wait for our hemp to grow so we can get some more power generation going, let's go ahead and get inside this engineer's workbench, and along with the engineer wires cutters and more engineer's blueprints and some steel plates, we can now craft ourselves the wire mold, the rod mold, and the gear mold. So that gets us those 3 quests completed. Put those in there for later use. Okay, let's check those off as well. Collect ourselves our tech bucks. All right, after a little bit of time has passed, and we have got ourselves a little bit more plates to work with here in our crafting. So back into the fluid pump, make ourselves we need to make ourselves the fluid pipes, which conveniently come in a stack of 8. Very nice. So we can craft ourselves the fluid pump. That's what we're going to need for one of these multi-blocks, being the bottling machine. Very cool. Let's go ahead and collect that one. So now let's also create this fluid outlet. I think this is also going to be important, which is not too hard. We just need to make ourselves some iron bars, which we can grab ourselves some iron from this. Makes ourselves some iron bars and make ourselves the fluid outlet. Now with this, we got to make the bottling machine, and we got to figure out exactly what we need for this. So we're gonna need 3 conveyor belts, 2 iron sheet metal blocks, a fluid pump, which we have, redstone engineering block, which let's save that recipe. We are going to need the light engineering block, which can take more of those components. Very cool. And the last ingredient we did not have, which was the steel scaffolding. So not too bad. It's going to take a little bit of crafting to get us there, and we're probably going to need to make a little bit more a little bit more steel, at least for future use. But yeah, needed to let a little bit more time pass and make some more plates and some rods, and we should be able to come back and craft ourselves the bottling machine. And after a little bit of crafting, that should be all the ingredients that we're going to need to make ourselves the bottling machine. And to be honest, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. You got a lot of extra crafts when you're doing these. So that's super nice. Let's figure out how we're going to do this. Okay, so it's a scaffolding, redstone scaffolding. Okay, so we'll go scaffolding, redstone scaffolding. And then I believe we need some iron sheet metal blocks, which I don't have. Is it all? Is it iron? It is iron, but that's all right. Let's go ahead and make that. We'll do everything else while it's waiting. This thing fell up to 16K. Cool. Okay. And what else is we need? Looks like the 2 on that side. Okay. 2 here. And then we need a fluid pump. Oh. Looks like it goes 1 higher than that. Yep. Okay. And I can't see what's supposed to be in this spot. It doesn't really tell me. So I'm just going to assume that there's nothing, or I'm missing something. But, close to finding out, all I need now is to grab myself some conveyors, which I do not have on me. Surprisingly, I almost always have them on me. Alright, now we have our conveyor belts. Place them down here, and I think we should... what am I missing? Oh, the 3rd scaffolding block goes there. I think. What am I missing? Maybe the scaffolding block goes on this side. A little bit of trial and error here because I can't see what it's supposed to look like. Oh, did that one wrong. And maybe this will work. No. Okay, well, I'm not really sure what I'm doing wrong here. Pump. Oh, it needs a 3rd conveyor belt. I thought the number was 2. I am an idiot. Anyway. That's not going to work now either because I can almost guarantee that it was right this way. I officially made that way harder than it needed to be. Awesome. Okay, well, let's put a relay down. Let's get a relay down, but let's do something cool here. Is there any kind of like post? Oh, there sure is. There is a wooden post, which I can make with stone bricks and treated wood planks. There's also an aluminum one. And a steel one. Well, I want to make one of these. This seems cool. So let's get some stone bricks, and then I'll make myself some planks, and then we're gonna have ourselves an electrical post. Now we have some wooden posts. I think we can put the relays on top of these, and that should be a pretty cool looking way to transfer the power down. Okay, cool. So let's take this connection off. Oh, don't want that. How do I take it off? Just destroy it? Yep. Okay, so want the regular connector on this bad boy. Regular connector on there. Regular one on, I believe, here. And then put the relay on top, which I still got to find a way to get up here. Relay on top. And I believe from here, all we got to do is run the wire around. Right click to here, and then right click from here to here. Right click from there to there. And there we go. And another cool thing about these, and we'll have to be conscious of this, is you take damage when you run into them because there's a current running across it. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna need to do some adjustment for this, and so it doesn't cut the wire in half. But anyway, we have this thing getting some power. After a little bit of research, I learned that I'm going to need a fluid tank to start supplying this bottling machine with some lava. So we are going to build that. I want to build it nearby here because I don't have a lot of fluid pipes yet. So we're going to probably build that just right here. And we're going to steal a little bit of dirt so that it has a platform to sit on. And the Immersive Engineering fluid tank is a multi-block as well. And it looks pretty cool. And I'm excited to get that thing placed down. Also, in between that last clip and this one, I let some more hemp grow, and I made a windmill sail, and I placed it, hoping that it would give the whole thing, but it just did it to one of the wings. So that's gonna take a lot more. That's gonna take a lot more hemp fibers than I thought. So we're gonna have to gradually let that thing build up over time, and then we'll be able to get this thing producing the max amount of power that it can produce, and then hopefully we can just exponentially grow our power. But anyway, let's get going here with the fluid tank. So let's, it's a 3x3, so let's keep it out of the way of this. Let's do right here. And then we need 34 iron sheet metal. That took a while to get, but we're all good now. Okay. And all we got to do is just build this thing up here until we have 9 left. And now we just cap it off. Very cool. And then we should just be able to right click. And there we go. Now we have ourselves a fluid tank. And I think from here, we can fill it with this. There we go. We have the perfect amount. And I think, I'm hoping we can just right click. So I went and gathered some lava, and it looks like we can. Very cool. So this is going to be where the fluid absorber comes in handy here. I haven't set that up yet, but we can make a fluid absorber with lava. Thinking we'll put that thing close by, and we can start funneling some lava into our fluid tanks. I'm also hoping that we can get creosote in here as well. But anyway, I think all we need to do to get this thing full is give it a redstone signal. So let's put the lever here, and this thing is slowly filling up with lava. And I also came prepared with some glass bottles. So we're gonna do, how many do we need exactly? Let's check the quest book again. Got the windmill sail quest. Head back into the advanced Technium. We need, for one of these, 4. Okay, very cool. So let's get 4 of them. Watch this thing fill up. I gotta say, I love the animations of these things. Oh, it's awesome. Oh, are they confused? That's all right. There we go. 4 lava bottles. Awesome. Complete that quest. And all we need now is some steel gears. So let's get the plate mold. I think we need to actually have the plate mold in our inventory. Or the gear mold. There we go. The gear mold in there. And I think to take 1, I think it's 4 per. So let's see how this rolls. There's 1 gear, 2 gear, 3 gear, and 4 steel gear. Very cool. That is another quest completed. Now, we got to get going with the advanced Technium. We're going to need to build a nickel miner so we can make Invar. So, take a second here and build myself another tier 5 support frame to make a nickel, and we're gonna get the research papers made. And when I get back, I should have some nickel miner set up. And we're back, and we have ourselves the nickel miner set up. I also built myself this little alloy kiln here, which is what we're going to use to make ourselves the Invar and later some Constantine to finish out this quest line. But for right now, we should have everything we need to get ourselves some Invar. So I'm going to let this cook up, and that should be the last ingredient that we need to make ourselves the advanced Technium. I have it set up here, and all I need is a piece of basic Technium in here, and then I just got to surround it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Invar. So once we get our 8 Invar, we should be able to make our first basic Technium. So give me a second to let all this smelt up, and then I'll show that going. A little bit later, we have ourselves our Invar that we're going to need to make ourselves the advanced Technium. Now, it took a little bit to get here, and we didn't do it quite as cleanly as we did the first tier, but we'll be able to flesh out all the things we need over time. But advanced Technium, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And that is basically this entire chapter completed. The only other things that I have left to do would be doing the fluid absorbers, with lava and kind of automating the bottling process. And I didn't go into this little logistics at all. This is one I'm not familiar with, but I want to give it a try. And I think I might play around with that in between episodes and see if I can do anything cool. But that sets us up pretty nice here to go into the next chapter. So once I'll try cleaning up all these quest lines, I'll do some playing around with a little logistics mod, and we'll see what we can do with that. But I think that's a good place to stop. We got a lot done today. Not quite as pretty, kind of sporadic. Did a lot of random things today, but I think I'm pretty happy with the progress. So if you guys like the video, please hit the like button. I really appreciate that. It lets me know that you like this series, and it gives me the motivation to continue going. And if you want to see more videos from me and the other videos on the channel, please hit the subscribe button. That also helps me a lot. Getting close to 1,000 subscribers, I think that'd be a pretty cool number to hit. But other than that, it's been Eagle. Peace.